motion to approve the agenda?
Second.
Mr. Kennedy?
Yes.
Mr. Simpkins?
Yes.
Mr. Sanders?
Yes.
Mrs. Zoll?
Yes. Okay, we have public input. 2 people are listed for public input. First is Sue Nelson. Want to come to the microphone?
Good evening, members of the school board, Ms. McPee. About a month ago, I spoke to you about local politics and how you must work to ensure that you have 3 votes for any issue that concerns you. You laughed when I suggested that you take a board member to lunch. A local paper called that heckling, but laughter is not heckling. And I will say again, if you have an issue that matters to you and needs to be discussed, take a board member to lunch. And this will happen over many issues that are taken up at this school board. For instance, you don't often hear about the federal piece of school funding. Those programs that begin with title this and chapter that, based on concepts that supported relevant federal laws. The most famous of these is probably Title IX, the law that mandates all programs must be provided equally for both male and female students. If you doubt such a law was needed, let me take a minute to describe my own experience many years ago in high school athletics. I played basketball from 9th grade to 12th grade, and in all the time, I never could shoot the ball. You see, I played guard under girls' rules. 6 players on the team, 3 forwards and 3 guards. Each player was only allowed 2 dribbles and could never cross the half-court line. So those of us who played guard never made a basket, since we had to pass the ball to the forwards so they could have all the fun. It was believed that females were too fragile to run the whole length of the floor. But I know I was probably among the fortunate few who was able to play ball at all. Many schools across the country only had sports teams for the boys. That's why in 1972, Title IX was born and became a federal law to encompass all schools. Title IX mandates that all athletics must be equal for males and females. Equal practice time, equal coaching, equal transportation to and from games, and equal numbers of sports available to all. And here's the rub. There's a college in Connecticut, Quinnipiac, I think is how you say it. University is its name. They were making budget cuts. And among the sports they eliminated was the girls' volleyball program. The women of the volleyball program, as you can imagine, didn't take this move lightly. They took their case to the courts, declaring that cheerleading was not really a sport, so the university should keep volleyball instead. According to Education Week magazine, a federal appeals court ruled colleges are still not allowed to count competitive cheerleading as a sport when trying to satisfy compliance standards of Title IX. The decision is broadly applicable, according to Nina Chaudhry, senior counsel at the National Women's Law Center, meaning that K through 12 schools like us can't count competitive cheer squads as varsity sports for the purposes of Title IX, the federal law approach prohibits gender-based discrimination. If cheerleading is undeveloped at the college level, I can't imagine it'll be declared otherwise at the high school level, Chaudhry said. It's a precedent-setting case. And how does this case affect Newbury? Well, let's look for a minute at winter sports here. We have boys basketball and girls basketball. Equal in uniforms, transportation, and practice time. It's easy to monitor when we're talking about the same sport for both genders. And then the boys have wrestling, and the girls have cheerleading. Equal in practice time and coaches and transportation. But what will happen if cheerleading does not meet the standards of a varsity sport under Title IX, as the Second U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals claims? What will schools around the country do to make things equal?
Mrs. Nelson, just one more minute, okay? We're reaching our cap. Just one more minute.
Thank you. I'll be done in a minute. At West G, for example, they offer gymnastics as an alternative, for the girls. At Berkshire, they've received hundreds of thousands of dollars for athletics, with a proposed swimming pool as a real possibility. They could add synchronized swimming as an option. We're talking about compliance with the law here. So what about Newbury, where they've just begun to develop a well-regarded wrestling program? What could be offered here to replace cheerleading to keep sports in balance? Pardon me. Or should they replace cheerleading at all? Or should they go the easiest way and cancel wrestling? The final decision, of course, rests on the Supreme Court and our school board. And we all know now it takes 3 votes to make any board decision legal. So I say to you again, when a decision is to be made, you must all state your claims, support your arguments, be ready to defend your positions, and don't hesitate to take a school board member to lunch.
Who can clap after that? There were boys this year as well.
Hold on.
I'd like to answer that. Wrestling in the state of Ohio is open to boys and girls, so it's a co-ed sport. I have 3 young ladies on the elementary school team, and we've had some on the middle school teams. So it's still represented for both sports.
There were boys on the cheer
Okay,
squad at fair last year too.
listen. If there's only 2 people speaking, and so I'd like to be able to let them speak, and then if there's time left, they'll open the floor to anyone else who'd like to come up for public comment. All right, Mr. Gibbard.
Good evening. I'm a retired CPA and a resident of Newbury for over 40 years. I'm here to comment on school finance issues. My experience in London County includes serving as the treasurer of the Newbury Joint Rec Board, the North Coast Football League, and the Newbury United Community Church. During the 1990s, I served on the Newbury School Board, studied fund accounting at Cuyahoga Community College, and obtained an Ohio School Treasurer's license. In January and February, the board voted down requests to put renewals of 2 emergency levies on the May ballot in anticipation of an audit of our forecasting process. Since that time, the audit has been received and accepted by the board, and the treasurer has prepared a required semi-annual 5-year projection. Soon, the board may be considering putting a renewal or renewals on the November 2018 ballot. The auditor's forecast indicates we will end 2022 with a negative cash balance of $53,000. If this forecast is accurate, I believe the school board would be able to economize enough to finish 2022 with a small positive cash balance. The treasurer's forecasts indicate we would end 2021 with a negative cash balance of $70,000. Again, I believe that with a little belt tightening, the board could make those funds last through 2021. The treasurer's forecast is $3 million more pessimistic than the auditor's forecast. It shows $700,000 more in personnel expenses, $1.2 million more in purchase services, and $1.1 million more in capital spending. I have worked on a number of school levy campaigns, including chairing one campaign. I believe successful levy campaigns have the following features. One, a clear and present need for funding, often accompanied by cuts planned if the levy fails. Two, a board that is 100% behind the levy. Three, an energetic and capable person to serve as campaign chairperson. Four, a core group of 20 to 30 active individuals willing to spend many hours working on the campaign, including going door to door if needed. Five, several $1,000s for publication and distribution of levy materials. Now, some of the aspects of our current situation include: one, we would be asking for the approval of funds in 2018 that would not be needed until 2022 or 2023. That's asking for funds to be approved 3 or 4 years before they will be needed. The budget contains between $874,000 and $1.97 million in capital expenditures, depending on which forecast you're looking at. While there are a number of projects identified, there is no board agreed upon list of projects in priority order, scheduled out by year, supported by bids. 3, the board has indicated they are investigating the pros and cons of remaining independent versus merging with another school district. 4, the board has not announced any cost-cutting measures or any cost-cutting measures that would be necessary if the renewals fail. In the last 40 years that I've been following Newbury School Board activities, I have never seen a board that requested funding 3 to 4 years before it was needed. For those reasons, I believe that the levy renewal vote in November 2018 would be doomed to failure. I personally would not vote for a renewal 3 to 4 years before it was needed. I urge the board to take no action on any levy renewal this year and reconsider the question in 2019. Instead, I urge you to move forward on the issues of capital expenditures needed and future independence, so that these issues will not remain as uncertainties clouding the need for renewals in 2019. Thank you.
Dave, out of curiosity, have you shared your insights with Nancy? Have you talked to her about your thoughts and your perspective on what you just said, especially at the beginning of this?
No, I am.
All right. I'd appreciate it if you do. You've been out of it a little bit. You're not seeing what Nancy sees. Appreciate the feedback and insight. It'd be great for you to talk to her about it.
I think he is right now.
I used the forecast that she prepared.
I hear you. I hear you.
Does anyone else want to take the floor?
And just so we're clear, I know he is talking about it now, but he hasn't gotten into the detail with her. So while I appreciate the feedback,
Mr. Simpkins,
you
they're
know,
public documents that anyone has the ability to read.
absolutely.
And
But
and
he can
that's why
stand
they're
up,
available
anybody
for
can stand
everyone
up here
to
and make that
analyze.
claim, right?
And he's
Anybody.
doing it in front of her.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
I'm just saying,
Right.
he can sit and talk.
I'll make it a point, but
Take her to lunch.
Absolutely.
Take her along.
If you bow, take her to lunch. Absolutely. Sounds like a deal.
There you go. Does anyone like to take, we have an extra 10 more minutes. Does anybody want to take the opportunity to speak? Yes.
I just wanted to read a letter. I hadn't planned to do this, but I had planned to email it to the school board and the superintendent. My name is Tony Wilson. My daughter graduated from Newbury in 2016. She was the valedictorian. And she got selected to be out of 650 students across the nation applied for a federal programs ambassadorship to Germany. And she was selected. They only took 75 people out of 650 kids. And most of these kids were graduate students or had already obtained their bachelor's degree. And Emily was selected. Part of her requirements when she leaves for Germany at the end of July is she had to contact David Joyce. And she'll be in contact with him multiple times through the year. And so she had to prepare a letter that was sent out to him. And she does talk about Newbury here and her time here, so I'd just like to read it to you. So you can appreciate her time spent here. Dear Congressman Joyce, my name is Emily Wilson, and I'm a lifelong resident of Newbury, Ohio, an alumni of Newbury High School. As your constituent, I wanted to notify you of my participation as a fellow in the 35th year of the Congress Bundestag Youth Exchange for Young Professionals, an ambassadorship program funded by the United States Department. Beginning in August, I will be living in Germany for a year to study, work, and foster healthy personal relationships and cultural exchange between the citizens of Germany and the United States. The continued existence of this program is due in great part to support from members of Congress, such as yourself, and for that I extend my deepest thanks to you for this truly unique opportunity. I am currently a rising junior at Ohio State University studying ecological engineering and German as a double major. It has been quite the ride already. In the past 2 years, I've been a part of the Humanitarian Engineering Scholars Program there, most recently as a mentor to incoming students, a resident of the Max K German Immersion House, an exchange partner mentor to a German exchange student for a semester, and now an intern at the Ohio State Student Farm. In this current venture for which I am living in Columbus for the summer, I can utilize the skills and knowledge I gained from working on my aunt's farm in Auburn Township for 5 years. My project on this student farm centers around agrological principles, specifically the interaction between bees and our farm. This type of research project is of the kind I expect to do for the final 5-month internship phase of the CBYS ambassadorship, so this summer is of crucial importance to me. Growing up in Jogga County as the eldest daughter of a career firefighter paramedic and a dispatcher shaped my love for the environment and my community in profound ways, influencing my career path and the code of ethics. I am to view my future as an engineer through the lens of humanitarian works and remain grounded in reality by the knowledge of my privilege as a middle-class educated white female from a wealthy nation. I am blessed to have been raised by loving parents in an energetic household in such a compassionate community. Now, as my community fights for the survival of Newbury High School, my beloved alma mater, with rallies and protests, large meeting turnouts, and heart-wrenching honest accounts of the school's immeasurable positive impact, I am once again reminded of the love my neighbors have shown for each other and for me, and also encouraged that good people will do what it takes to show up for each other in times of trial. I take great pride in my community and credit many of the accomplishments to the generosity and committed to young Emily. Never would I have been writing the letter to you if not for the school board working with me to devise a foreign language individual study program so that I could earn credit for my German studies. I have already been to Germany on an OSU study abroad program that would not have been possible without the scholarships I received from Newbury when I graduated as a valedictorian in 2016, nor without teachers and classmates giving me the tools and encouragement I needed to pursue my dreams of an international professional career. A girl from Newbury in Germany, you bet. I'm truly blessed and immensely privileged. In the end, I tell you these things in hopes that they encourage both you and myself. My small community, not too far or separate from your own, is strong and overflowing with the best of people who understand democracy and demand that their voices are heard, and that their children are taught how to use the tools they've been given to build a rocket to the stars. Above all else, I will miss the people. Please take good care of them for me while I'm gone. As I adventure through daily life in Germany in the next year, I plan to update you every few months when I can. If you have any interest in following along, I'll be posting frequent updates on my webpage. Hopefully I'll have the opportunity to meet with you in person before the program begins, so I can thank you for your continued support to State Department programs such as CDYX, as well as legislation critical for keeping brave first responders like my dad and brother healthy and coming home to my mother every night. Kindest regards.
Thank you very much.
I just have a couple of comments. Dave, with your, I understand what you're saying about delaying the renewals, but there's going to come a point right now we're not in any talks with anybody. We've not taken any votes to be on any talks. We don't know what's going to happen. And I'm not saying that, I'd like to see this renewal on, if anything, if we do a consolidation, if we do a territory transfer, at least that money's going with the school to the new entity, whatever it may be. So you're not hurting that new entity. The other thing is, we have to, at this point, in my mind, run this school like we're not, that we still are going to be here in 4 or 5 years. We have a parking lot that's disintegrating. We have a turnaround that I'm watching people play what was that, Pitfall when we were kids? The video game where you jumped over the canyon. That's what they're doing in that. So we do have a list of capital improvements, and we've had them. This board's had it. And we have,
I said that.
well, and we have to act on them. Because as you know, being a previous board member, and Sue, you also, this is a time we have to get stuff done. And we have not acted. Now, I understand with the new board members, they don't understand that this is a time that we can't, we only have a certain window while the students aren't here and everything else. Now, I'm not saying the $1.5 million window rehab, but I am saying simple things, like filling potholes, fixing our bus garage. We broke another bus mount this week. And it's not a point where you can just go around it. And if you were on the tour, you saw the bus garage parking lot. This is something that's been on the radar now for 3-4 years. And it was something that, quite honestly, and I've said this before, we could have made a resolution and crammed it down everybody's throat. We didn't do that. That wasn't fair. That wouldn't be fair. We wanted to give everybody time, just like when we voted for the audit, the independent audit. We wanted everybody to come in here feeling that it was at least fair. We could have voted on those windows. There was actually discussion about voting on it. But the previous board didn't think it was going to be fair. But now I'm not saying, hey, let's open the checkbook. But what I'm saying is we still have to act like we're educating people and that the Kiwanis pancake breakfast, that we don't have people falling in the never-ending potholes, that when we have something at the auditorium, whether it be that people aren't ripping the front end of their cars out. These are basic things that, quite honestly, should have been done before. We've gone through the tour. We saw it. You were with us on the tour. There were some things that were pointed out, and pretty strongly.
Can I interrupt real quick? I guess I didn't take that from Mr. Gifford. I didn't take that he was advising or recommending to the board that they not pay for those things that are necessary.
No, but we haven't acted on them. These should have been acted on already, Maggie.
Sure. I mean, every time we go through these recommendations, we do discuss that. I think we're getting off topic of public input, but I did want to, I saw misunderstanding.
Where I'm tying that in with, and I appreciate you trying to clarify for me in my own words, But what I am trying to
No,
say
Mr.
is,
Gifford's words was what I was trying to clarify.
what I am saying is those renewals, at least one renewal, if we act on it, like I said, it's not going to waste. It comes with, it's not raising anyone's taxes. It's the same taxes, it's the same everything, but that way we have the leeway that if something major, catastrophic, I mean, you were aware of when we lost the well. That was a very substantial hit. If we had that, and if we run our, I mean, when you retired, you planned for it for quite a while. We have to plan. 5 years is not out. And you know how school boards work. So you know nothing moves quickly. You have to have some forethought to it. So that's all I have to say.
Yeah, I don't disagree with any of those things.
All right, moving on, under superintendent's
I
recommendation.
want to do the presentation.
Oh, I'm sorry, I skipped Terry. Thank you. Go ahead.
I just wanted to report Auburn Career Center. We are currently at 93% enrollment capacity. We have 448 seats are filled out of the available 480. We are offering for the first time criminal justice and security, and we are putting on 2 classes of that, and they rapidly filled up. So we have 40 students signed up for that. And also I'd like to say, I don't know how many, I'm sure a lot of you remember the Cassidys, Roger Cassidy and Lou Cassidy. They were teachers here for many, many years. They were even my teachers. Roger is currently in a nursing facility. About 6 weeks ago he fell and broke his hip and his collarbone, and he is on the mend. He was supposed to be home last Saturday, but he had a setback, so he is still there. But our prayer should go out to them.
Okay, under superintendent's recommendations, motion to approve the elementary handbook for 2018-2019 school year.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion?
Mr. Saturday?
Yes.
Mr. Simpkins?
Yes.
Mr. Sanders?
Yes.
Mrs. Psalm?
Yes. Motion to approve the school bus driver handbook for 2018-2019 school year.
Second.
Any discussion?
Mr. Simpkins?
Yes.
Mr. Sanders?
Yes.
Mr. Saturday?
Yes.
Mrs. Psalm?
Yes. Motion to approve the final revised 2018 graduation list.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion?
Mr. Sanders?
Yes.
Mr. Simpkins?
Yes.
Mr. Saturday?
Yes.
Mrs. Psalm?
Yes. Motion to approve the purchase of a 16 by 24 storage barn, Pinecraft storage barns for $11,440.
So moved.
Second.
What is the storage barn for? What are
Well-
we storing in?
Sure. Nancy, do you mind if I answer that?
Go ahead.
When the grandstands was redone, we had quite a bit of storage underneath that. We were able to put all our machinery and everything else. With the grandstands, how they're gonna be redone now, it doesn't allow us storage. So Roger, I think I've been on the facilities committee for, since I got on the board. But Roger called me and we got a couple bids and quotes for the storage barn. We're paying right now on that pod, in the back. We're paying on that, and it doesn't hold everything he needs, plus it doesn't look very aesthetically pleasing sitting in a parking lot. So I got a couple of quotes, and Roger did too. And actually, Roger's quote was better than the ones I got. This company that Pinecraft comes in, they do the foundation basically set up, which is gravel, typical on any shed. And I think it'll have wood floorboards, and they come in and it's built, it's not brought in. We had some that were just brought in with no prep work that were around 6,000. So this is taking out the prep work from doing that. And that way too, we can lose the rent. Nance, what are we paying on the storage unit right now?
I can tell you off the top of my head.
Okay, I forgot to ask Roger that, but I know
Kelly?
175 a month.
175 a month. And this is something too, because of the track mat and everything else, they've always played musical. We purchased new track mats. So we've always played musical track mats in the, around the school. They've gone to the wrestling room, to the PFR out there, and all around. This way we won't have to do it. It'll have a loft on it that we can put those up, and since they're brand new, because what did those cost us, Anthony?
$4,000.
Yeah. So instead of dragging them across the field, so that's where this storage unit. We have 2 Lexmark. One's actually new, lawnmower, and those were 8-ton. So it just keep everything stored.
Anything else?
Mr. Sanders?
Yes.
Mr. Simpkins?
Yes.
Mr. Sevedy?
Yes.
Mrs. Zoll?
Yes. Motion to approve the 2018-2019 junior senior high school student parent handbook.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Sevedy?
Yes.
Mr. Simpkins?
Yes.
Mr. Sanders?
Yes.
Mrs. Zoll?
Yes. Motion to approve the 2018-2019 junior senior high school student parent athletic handbook.
So moved. Second.
Mr. Sanders?
Yes.
Mr. Simpkins?
Yes.
Mr. Sevedy?
Yes.
Mrs. Zoll?
Yes. Motion to approve the revised June 2018 emergency action plan for athletics.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Simpkins?
Yes.
Mr. Sevedy?
Yes.
Mr. Sanders?
Yes.
Mrs. Zoll?
Yes. Under treasurer's recommendation, so motion to approve the May 2018 financials.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion on those? Yes.
Mr. Sanders?
Yes.
Mr. Simpkins?
Yes.
Mr. Sevedy?
Yes.
Mrs. Zoll?
Yes. Motion to approve the request of property tax receipts in advance of the collection period of July 6, 2018 and July 20th, 2018 as approved by the county auditor.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion on those?
Mr. Sevedy?
Yes.
Mr. Sanders?
Yes.
Mr. Simpkins?
Yes.
Mrs. Zoll?
Yes. Motion to create Fund 499 Secondary Transition Grant.
So moved.
Second.
Could you explain what that is?
This is a new grant that has come through with our federal grants, and I believe it's like $200.
Oh.
We have to create a fund to put the money in and take it out. And it's a transition from school to work, it's basically. Mr. Sanders?
Yes.
Mr. Simpkins?
Yes.
Mr. Sevedy?
Yes.
Mrs. Zoll?
Yes. Motion to approve the fund transfers and advances, and they were attached and enclosed for the board.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion on those? Anybody have any questions on the transfers or anything? I reviewed them with Nancy prior. third amended certificate of estimated resources, final appropriations for fiscal year 2018.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion on those?
Mr. Sanders?
Yes.
Mr. Sedity?
Yes.
Mr. Simpkins?
Yes.
Mrs. Sonic?
Yes. Motion to approve the second amended certificate of estimated resources and temporary appropriations for fiscal year 2019.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion?
Mr. Sanders?
Yes.
Mr. Simpkins?
Yes.
Mr. Sedity?
Yes.
Mrs. Sonic?
Yes. Motion to approve the renewal of Ohio Association of School Business Officials membership for fiscal year 2019 in the amount of $568.
So moved.
Second.
I'll second.
Any discussion?
Mr. Sedity?
Yes.
Mr. Simpkins?
Yes.
Mr. Sanders?
Yes.
Mrs. Sonic?
Yes. Motion to approve membership dues for the Ohio Coalition for Equity and Adequacy for fiscal year 2018 and 19.
So moved.
Second.
Okay. Mr. Simpkins?
Yes.
Mr. Sedity?
Yes.
Mr. Sanders?
Yes.
Mrs. Sonic?
Yes. And motion to approve the following student fees for the 2018-2019 school year.
So moved.
Second.
And Nancy, you were just stating that there was a change in technology fee, is that right? Is that the only thing that was different?
We have waived the elementary workbook fees and the junior, senior high school fees and workbook fees because we have close to 50% free and reduced lunch, and they have a waiver on 50% as well. And what we've done is added the technology fee, since most of the workbooks are now going to online workbooks. And then, of course, we wrote in specifically that if there was damage done, that they would reimburse at the cost of the repair.
Thank you.
Mr. Simpkins?
Yes.
Mr. Sedity?
Yes.
Mr. Sanders?
Yes.
Mrs. Sonic?
Yes. A motion to approve the contract with Java ESC for extended school year tuition for STARS.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Sedity?
Yes.
Mr. Sanders?
Yes.
Mr. Simpkins?
Yes.
Mrs. Sonic?
Yes. Motion to approve the shared service agreement with Cardinal Schools Transportation Coordinator for 1/2 salary cost for 2018-2019 school year.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion on that?
We have the transportation supervisor that Cardinal shares have. They have the coordinator, and they share. They share. Mr. Sedity?
Yes.
Mr. Sanders?
Yes.
Mr. Simpkins?
Yes.
Mrs. Sonic?
Yes. Motion to approve the shared service agreement with Cardinal School Transportation Director.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Simpkins?
Yes.
Mr. Sanders?
Yes.
Mr. Sedity?
Yes.
Mrs. Sonic?
Yes. Motion to approve the agreement between Lake County ESC Governing Board of Newbury Local for nutrition services not to exceed $15,000 and the Lake Academy and or lead at prorated costs for July 1st, 2018 through June 30th, 2019.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Sevedy?
Yes.
Mr. Sanders?
Yes.
Mr. Simpkins?
Yes.
Mrs. Zoll?
Yes. Motion to approve the agreement between Newbury and Generations Event and Reception Center for prom 2019, which will be held on Friday, May 3rd, 2019.
So move.
Second.
Mr. Sanders?
Yes.
Mr. Simpkins?
Yes.
Mr. Sevedy?
Yes.
Mrs. Zoll?
Yes. Motion to approve agreement between Newbury and Interstate Studio for 2018-2019 yearbook.
So,
Second.
Mr. Simpkins?
yes.
Mr. Sanders?
Yes.
Mr. Sevedy?
Yes.
Mrs. Zoll?
Yes. Motion to approve the contract for handicapped pupils with the Norton Board of Ed for one Newbury student for 2017-2018 school year.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Simpkins?
Yes.
Mr. Sanders?
Yes.
Mr. Sevedy?
Yes.
Mrs. Zoll?
Yes. Motion to approve the access extended school year, the PSY student services agreement for one Newbury student with re-education services for the summer of 2018.
So move.
Second.
Mr. Sevedy?
Yes.
Mr. Sanders?
Yes.
Mr. Simpkins?
Yes.
Mrs. Zoll?
Yes. Motion to approve the access, the ESY student service agreement with re-education services for classroom aid.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Simpkins?
Yes.
Mr. Sevedy?
Yes.
Mr. Sanders?
Yes.
Mrs. Zoll?
Yes. Motion to approve the agreement for Newbury student with re-education services for access with a per diem rate of $274.
So move.
Second.
Mr. Sevedy?
Yes.
Mr. Sanders?
Yes.
Mr. Simpkins?
Yes.
Mrs. Zoll?
Yes. Motion to approve the agreement for one Newbury student with re-education services per diem $274.
So move.
Second.
Mr. Sanders?
Yes.
Mr. Simpkins?
Yes.
Mr. Sevedy?
Yes.
Mrs. Zoll?
Yes. Motion to approve the agreement for Newbury student with re-education services to access per diem rate of $274.
So move.
Second.
Mr. Sevedy?
Yes.
Mr. Simpkins?
Yes.
Mr. Sanders?
Yes.
Mrs. Zoll?
Yes. Motion to approve the agreement between Newbury and PSI affiliates for St. Helens 61.
You just want.
Oh, where'd it go? Oh, I did see it. I did skip them. Okay, so number 13? Sorry, approve the agreement for one Newbury student with re-education services and access.
So moved.
Second.
There were a lot of those, sorry.
Mr. Simpkins?
Yes.
Mr. Sanders?
Yes.
Mr. Sevedy?
Yes.
Mrs. Zoll?
Yes.
Yeah. Now it's 4.
Now it's 14.
We did.
Approve the agreement between Newbury local PSI affiliates.
So move.
Second.
Can you explain that?
This is for St. Helens School. We received money from the state. We're the fiscal agent for St. Helens School.
Oh,
We received the money from the state for the school, and we do the accounting for it. And we have to approve all the agreements as fiscal agent. Mr. Sanders?
Yes.
Mr. Simpkins?
Yes.
Mr. Sevedy?
Yes.
Mrs. Zoll?
Yes.
Can I make a comment here? Some of the things on the agenda are shared services, and that is one way that we conserve our dollars. is through sharing services with other school districts. So,
All right, a motion to approve the consent agenda, excuse me, which is A through F.
So moved.
Second.
Did anybody have any questions about any of those listed? Or comments? Okay. Excuse me.
Mr. Sethi?
Yes.
Mr. Sanders?
Yes.
Mr. Simpkins? Mrs. Song?
Yes.
Mrs. Song? Yes. We're going to schedule meetings.
For the work session for July 9th and at 6 o'clock. It's on the board.
Session.
Yeah, and if you wanted to schedule a work session July 23rd.
July 23rd, work session. We're talking about like
So,
And then we have our board meeting.
And then July 9th
at
at
6
6 was a work session to go over.
until 7, the regular meeting.
Yeah, the regular starts at 7.
So do you want to do a motion?
Yes. And then, so, okay, so enter motion into adding a work session for July 9th at 6 o'clock to 7. And then, do we have to do them separate, Nancy?
No, just,
And then July 23rd at 7.
So moved.
second?
What?
Do we have a second?
Second.
Mr. Sethi?
Yes.
Mr. Sanders?
Yes.
Mr. Simpkins?
yes.
Mrs. Song?
Yes. Okay, now motion to adjourn the meeting?
Before we adjourn,
Yep.
we have to get these things that I mentioned with the parking lot and all that, because it's either gonna be pay now or pay later, and it has to be soon. We're gonna start having kids coming in for practices, stuff like that. And if somebody trips in one of those, and with us being a public entity, they're gonna sue us.
Right, so I think that's what the capital expenditure meeting and the work session, just everybody was busy and Michelle's been out of town. I think it was just difficult for us to find a time to meet, to go over this. I think I saw Michelle recommend the back one by the bus.
The bus.
Which one are you talking about?
She also gave you a quote for filling. It just, we're past the window of opportunity to do that. We had a quote at one point for $237,000 to take that down and refix it, the driveway how it should
The
be.
main part.
The main part.
Yeah.
Now, we're past that point. I don't think we can get that done this summer. So now we're gonna be filling in potholes, and we'll probably, and I know we have quotes for the circle drive to get that fixed, because that's getting worse and worse and worse.
Yeah, I think she said Doug was gonna look at a few different options for the back, but I hadn't heard any, like.
The circle driveway, that's been a long time going, because in two of the quotes we have, it is tear the whole thing up, except for what I believe Mullet Brothers did about 5 years ago. That's still in good shape, but past that point, and you have to do that. Also, where are we, since we're all here, where are we with West Geogga and Berkshire at this?
Yeah, thank you, I'm sorry. Tonight is the public meeting, but I believe both school districts have public meetings, but I know West Geogga specifically was getting a consensus on their involvement. After that happens, we will know the scope of work to be able to give to PFR so that they can put together a proposal for us. I hate to give timeframes because, we know that those aren't always, but PFR indicated it could be as quick as a week turnaround to get our proposal once we give them the scope of work and timeframe. So, my hope is that we'll have that tonight.
So I'm just asking,
Sure.
if both schools say, yeah, we're on board, let's give it a shot, and I know we're picking up the bill for this, so they're going to be collecting information from both districts and trying to compile that and see how everything works together.
Yes. Yeah, I think we all, in speaking, felt better to have a true comparison from a third party that would be able to give us and the Geogga ESC and all of our, not only our board but our public, a true comparison so that we could look at them together at the same time, hopefully. Okay? Anything else? Did I already motion to adjourn the meeting?
So moved.
Second?
Mr. Sadowski?
Yes.
Mr. Sanders?
Yes.